Tatooine is tucked into a far corner of the outer rim in the Tatoo system. Tatooine has the unique distinction of being a planet solarized by two suns. As a result, Tatooine's environment is extremely harsh. Intense heat and strong winds constantly buffet the dry and barren surface. Water is scarce, food scarcer. It is a wonder life exists at all in such a severe and demanding place, but exist it does and with surprising richness and variety, particularly the larger fauna who seek shelter in the sand dunes, arroyos and canyons. Most creatures are thick-skinned or otherwise armored against the sun's heat and the planet's environmental hazards. Many have developed intricate internal heat regulation systems, and a large percentage can go long periods without water. Most also have developed unique strategies for gleaning moisture from a variety of unusual sources. Adaptation on Tatooine is quite amazing, so much so that the more time one spends exploring the planet, the more one marvels at the ingenuity of biology and nature. These large and furry mammals, indigenous to Tatooine, are seen in high numbers and are well integrated into planetary life. Remains have been found that predate most recorded civilizations. Highly intelligent and extremely social, banthas travel in matriarchal herds of up to 25 individuals. Its tongue is highly sensitive, extremely strong, structurally complex and dexterous. Contains olfactory glands and used for holding and carrying, eating and drinking in various configurations, as a signifier for bantha communications. Also it has breathing spiracles that can open and close and a gripping knobs at the end. The matriarch, the oldest, the strongest, most capable female in the herd, keeps an ever-vigilant eye and tongue trained for bantha predators. As the matriarch ages, she relinquishes control of the herd to the next qualified candidate. If a herd grows too large, it splits, with the second oldest and strongest female becoming matriarch of the new branch. A bull signals his desire with his tongue. They can live 100 years and weight over 4 tons. Bantha horns grow a new segment each year and they can indicate the creature's environment and health. Thick, crenellated segments usually signify ample food and good health, while thin, cracked, or partially developed segments often signify drought or famine. Male banthas develop thicker and longer horns than females, with males typically completing 2 horn spirals before they die, while females average 1 complete cycle per lifetime. Bantha horns sometimes become locked during a fight, which means death for both. Eventually collapsing with exhaustion, the adversaries are unable to move as the blowing desert sand covers them. The common bantha was once the only known species on Tatooine, but scientists are discovering others. The dwarf bantha is much smaller, more skittish and shy, sure-footed. It lives in the canyons and cliffs of the remote, outer deserts. The dune bantha is rangier, more slender, and less furry. It lives in the equatorial zones and can survive very high temperatures and the relative unavailability of water. Banthas show a curious fascination with the bones of their ancestors, gathering them together in special areas and fondling them. Mothers have been known to carry a deceased newborn many kilometers to such sites. Considered extremely bad luck to enter a bantha graveyard. This large, desert-dwelling reptile gets its name from its main method of hydration, by licking early morning dew off its neighbor's back. Their thick, rugged, sand-colored hide has special melanins that cut the sun's glare while also helping to preserve precious body fluids. Their coloration varies. Omnivorous, the dewback's prey is usually cat size or smaller, and it eats desert sages and underground tubers. Cold-blooded and sluggish at night. They conserve energy by insulating themselves in huddled groups. Dewbacks travel in single-file lines and at a very leisurely pace. Because of its size, the dewback has few enemies, but their eggs, which they bury in the sand, are easy prey for many predators. They compensate with a high rate of reproduction, producing 50 to 85 eggs per year. Their main defenses are their talons and speed. Though usually slow, they are capable of concentrated bursts of speed, up to 50 km per hour. They are easily domesticated when raised from the egg. Tall, skittish mammals, Rontos amble about the arroyos and plateaus of Tatooine's higher deserts. They have two sets of ears. The long set is attuned to low frequencies while also helping with heat dissipation. Ronto bands are mostly female. They organize around their young in a protective outer circle. Ronto males can be seen neck fighting skirmishes seemingly for dominance in which they bang their heads together like hammers. Ronto's long necks allow them to stretch for desert lichens and mosses on high canyon walls. Horny, calloused head protects against elements and enemies. Eopies are swift-moving, herbivorous mammals that can cover long distances with minor moisture loss. Very social, they live in large herds of 20 or more. Tough hide covered with sparse, smooth hair. The thick foot pads broaden on impact for maximum shock absorption. The elbow and knee calluses protect against the desert sands. When startled or angry, Eopies spit undigested stomach contents at passerby. A special hinged skull allows for a very flexible, elongated snout and a broader range for sharp incisors. Eopies get most of their moisture from desert lichens and tubers. Easily domesticated, they are used mainly as beasts of burden and in caravans. When Eopies become too old to work, many Tatooine families give them to their children as pets, as they become completely acclimated to handling. Galoomps are large herbivores that, despite reptilian appearance, are actually mammals. Named for the unique sound they make when foraging for food at dawn or dusk. The tail knob, filled with loose pieces of cartilage, shakes to warn of approaching danger. A segmented, horny, ridged hide on their backside protects against predators and seems to insulate against moisture loss. During sandstorms they bury themselves in the sand. Their nostrils are slitted to protect against inhaling sand. Galoomps run with their wide mouths open, filling their unusually large lungs with air. In full flight, a Galoomp's lungs can expand to fill almost its entire body cavity. The Galoomp's powerful hind legs are responsible for the animal's signature bounding gait. Its unique body structure allows it to traverse the desert plains at great speeds. At rest, the front legs are used for digging roots and the Galoomp's favorite edible, desert plums. The split hoof aids this creature's manual dexterity. Anoobas are predatory opportunists and scavengers that will attack anything smaller than themselves and at times try to bring down larger animals like Rontos or Eopies. Their strong jaws have a horny exterior beak capable of crushing thick bones. Anoobas range in weight from 20 to 45 kilograms. Males are somewhat larger than female. They live in packs of 10 to 12, each pack governed by 2 dominant adults, an alpha male and female. Female Anoobas foster 3 to 4 cubs per season and feed their young through regurgitation. Savage, omnivorous rodents with a high reproductive rate, womp rats are generally cowardly but dangerous when threatened. They travel singly or in packs of up to 20. The womp rat is an opportunist, and particularly fond of carrion and refuse. They are often found breeding in landfill sites. Many Tatooine residents have made a sport of killing these disease-carrying vermin. Very swift, bounding lagomorphs. Vegetarian jackrabs get both food and water from plants and shrubs. Jackrabs use their dexterous, satellite-like ears for hearing, heat dissipation, and semaphore-like communication. Strong, two-legged running rodents, scurriers travel in packs of up to 30 individuals. Often found with jackrabs and known to appropriate the burrows of abandoned profog towns. These large, comical rodents form complex underground burrowing systems called towns. Profog towns can stretch across several hectares, housing from 50 to 100 profogs. Each burrow has a specific use and function, and other animals have been known to take over abandoned ones. Profogs weigh between 10 and 25 kilograms. Horns, snouts, sharp incisors, and powerful claws are used for defense and as tools for digging. They have a high rate of reproduction, regularly producing litters of 6 to 8 young, 6 to 8 times a year. Urusai subsist chiefly or entirely on carrion, and sometimes become too engorged to fly. Males have 4 wings, 2 for flying and 2 smaller ones for mating display. Strong tails provide balance. Their skin is bare of feathers for hygienic purposes, the sun's heat bacteria down. These animals can live 50 years, they have a wingspan of 2 meters and weight 45 kilograms. Urusais lay 2 to 3 eggs per brood. The first young to hatch disposes of the other eggs. If 2 young hatch simultaneously, a battle ensues until one knocks the other out of the nest to the ground where it perishes. Urusais can use their fine-tuned sense of smell to detect carrion from high above the clouds. They are important to the planetary ecology because they keep rotting carcasses from spreading disease. These winged reptavians vigilantly cruise the rising thermals of Tatooine looking for putrefied carcasses. Claws on tails and wings are used for grasping. They nest in cliff outcroppings and under tower eaves. Giant, ground-dwelling reptavians, woodoos feed primarily on Dewback eggs or usurped Anooba kill. Slow, extremely strong, and powerful. They weigh over 640 kilograms. Usually large cranium attached by short neck to bulbous, egg-shaped body. Thick legs for support and easy travel. Medium-sized flying reptiles with 4 wings, sketos live in caves and tend to come out during daybreak and twilight and for several hours at night. They eat airborne insects and suck the blood of huge, sleeping animals. Eyes have many rods for twilight vision. Sketos appear to be a galactic anomaly, a warm-blooded reptile that gives birth to only 1 young at a time. Its swarms are capable of sucking dry a sleeping dewback. War are large, voracious amphibians that eat anything that passes by. They digest their meals with distinctive burp. Slow metabolism, war rarely move. They reproduce only during the infrequent Tatooine humidity showers, laying eggs in small puddles. Eggs must hatch quickly, pass through larval stage, and grow to maturity before the puddles dry up. Krayt is a parasitic insect found in homes and cities, eats garbage and vegetal remnants. Gorg is a precocious desert amphibian, similar to war but smaller and more ambulatory. A popular Tatooine food. Grogs are now farmed domestically on Tatooine, and the amphibians are prepared in a number of ways, roasted in manioc leaves, dried, and fricasseed. They are sold fresh in cauldrons in most bazaars and markets. Sarlaccs are extremely long-lived, 20,000 to 50,000 years, and very rare giant arthropods whose primary function is digestion. A mature female buries herself in the ground, creating a hideous crater with her permanently gaping mouth. Creatures stumble into the mouth and are digested whole and alive. Due to obvious reasons, research is inconclusive, but complete digestion appears to take from 500 to 1,000 years. The parasitic male sarlacc attaches itself to a female. One report found a mature male that mutated and expanded to such a size that, presumably after several millennia, it devoured its mate. Symbiotic relationship has been observed between Urusai and Sarlacc. Urusai clean the teeth and tentacles of the Sarlacc while the Sarlacc offers up food to its custodians. The Sarlacc's gastric juices are composed of unique acids that keep its prey decomposing but alive during the entire period of digestion, keeping meat fresh while it disintegrates. The Sarlacc hydrates itself in 2 ways, from deep underground moisture-pocked and by absorbing fluid from its prey. Spores are released from an oviduct located just below the Sarlacc's skin. Underground, they pair up in male-female configurations and then crawl to the surface. They migrate through space for several years before finding a suitable habitat. Sarlaccs are very vulnerable during this immature nomadic phase and often die of starvation or are eaten by Urusai. This is a monolithic reptile, capable of vast destruction, yet the greater Krayt dragon is rarely seen. Extremely reclusive, it is thought that it buries itself in the sand during the daylight. Its sinewy musculature, massive strength, and swift, flexible skeleton make it the most impressive reptile known. Stories are told of Krayt dragons literally swimming through mountains of sands. The dragon can dig out sarlaccs, even if it's extremely rare. Banthas are a much more common treat. These creatures are oviparous reptiles, it is assumed, although no eggs have ever been found. Multiple legs are necessary to support its gargantuan bulk. A rare species, Rancors are more typically seen on the planet. Dathomir, where powerful witches, have successfully domesticated them as mounts. They are even rarer on Tatooine, where they have survived as an exotic transplant. Ratcheted hide contains pulsate ink bumps, warts, and horny protuberances. Carnivore, it prefers large herbivores, which are easy prey, but is known to eat anything. Rancors are reptimammals. They are warm-blooded and bear and care for young, but do not suckle. Female often gives birth to twins that ride on her back and stomach for the first 3 years of their lives. During this period, the female rancor shares all her kills with her infants. A rancor leaves its family forever upon maturity.